Pokémon Scarlet and Violet have broken some insane records for the franchise. But with 9 generations, 122 different games, gotta ask, is Pokémon about to suffer the same fate as games like Call of Duty, Madden, and FIFA? You get the same game every single year, there's just minor adjustments, and when we finally do get to play it, there's just far too many bugs for a billion-dollar franchise.
Are you listening?
Hey, welcome back, friends. We've got a pretty interesting story to talk about for today's show. If you hadn't heard, Game Freak and Nintendo just got done releasing Pokémon Scarlet and Pokémon Violet, the latest chapters in the game's iconic series. And a big W to these guys, because Nintendo revealed that Scarlet and Violet have surpassed 10 million units sold 3 days after the game launched. And just for comparison, Sony's God of War Ragnarok sold 5.1 million copies in its first week, which really isn't a fair comparison because God of War Ragnarok is its own game, and of course Scarlet and Violet are literally the same game, just sold in 2 different versions. You know, there's different Pokemon available in each game, there's different named factions, but if you bought both Scarlet and Violet, literally you are buying this same game twice. Although I bet Sony is like kicking themselves in the butt that they didn't think about this. Like, why are we selling gamers one game when we can just sell them the same game twice? God of War Ragnarok and God of War Valhalla? Now, all jokes aside, this news is massive for Nintendo. As Benji Sales over on Twitter perfectly pointed out, Pokémon Scarlet and Violet selling 10 million units in 3 days, including 4 million of those units being from Japan alone, means that this game is Pokémon's biggest launch of all time, the biggest Switch launch of all time, the biggest Nintendo launch of all time, and the biggest console exclusive launch of all time. Man, with accomplishments like that, this game must be the greatest game of all time. What are the critics saying? Well, let's check in on IGN's Rebecca Valentine, who described this game as tearing their hair out over how conflicted they are about this game. I'm sorry, I thought this was a good game? Yes, on one hand, they described how much they enjoyed the game, but also described issues with visual qualities, open world details, customization, and technical soundness, with the game oftentimes feeling unfinished. Well, that just represents one person. I mean, everybody can't be feeling the same way. Users on Metacritic have given the game a 2.9 out of 10. Okay. Santi at The Gamer wrote, "The performance is so abruptly bad that it completely ruins, to an infuriating extent, what otherwise could have been the best Pokemon game to date." All right, I'm starting to get a trend here. I think that's a Digital Foundry wrote over on Twitter, "Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are comprehensive technical failures with a litany of issues, and the compromises and cutbacks versus Pokemon Legends Arceus are extraordinary." All right, we're just gonna get beat up by Nintendo fanboys on this video. A comprehensive technical failure. I mean, guys, this game sold 10 million copies. Pokemon is starting to sound a whole lot like Call of Duty. The most recent version of that game sold $1 billion in 2 weeks, and Nadeshot, easily one of the biggest voices in that community, described his frustrations as
dumbass fucking game, bro. You sit here for fucking 9 hours trying to do this shit. We get to the 5th fucking game and my shit crashes. Jesus Christ, I just spent my whole day trying to get this goddamn thing. I mean, I know I sound like a whiny little bitch about a video game, but Jesus Christ. Fix your fucking shit. You just made $1 billion! And you've done it every year! Every fucking year! You have made $1 billion+ from this game! And I can't even fucking play it! Holy shit!
You see, I feel like in order to break this down, we have to explain the fact that in gaming, there's an ethos of games that will sell no matter what it is. FIFA, NBA 2K, Madden, Call of Duty, and Grand Theft Auto. Rockstar could legit release a 1-hour version of Grand Theft Auto 6 tomorrow for $59, and it would break records. And Pokemon seems like it's quickly entering into that ethos. And this is where the dev team has to be very careful, because on one hand, whatever you do is gonna sell 5 to 10 million copies, so that's not really a bad thing. But that type of confidence also opens you up to the risk of not doing enough to justify a brand new game, or not ensuring that the quality of the new game is up to par with the expectation of your player base. I mean, guys, how many games have we seen released way before they were ready, when the devs knew it wasn't ready, but they still launched simply to hit a marketing window? My point in all of this is Pokémon could easily be falling into that trap as a franchise. I mean, after reading the reviews of this game, there is no doubt in my mind that this probably could have benefited from a couple more months of development, along with a new Nintendo console that's actually designed to run video games made in 2022. Personally, I think it's going to be so interesting to see how Game Freak and Nintendo react to this. Do we get patches, updates, or does Nintendo just move their focus onto the next Pokemon game, which likely will be launching this time next year, further entrenching Pokemon into this cycle of half-baked, poorly made games that still sell millions of copies. And look, in Nintendo's defense here, if they're still making money and people are buying these games no matter what, why the fuck would they do anything different?